Okay, go.
Yep.
All right, good morning, everyone. I'm your head golf professional, Chad Perkins, joined by General Manager Renee Frazier and one of our members, Bob McDowell. And this is your ForeTees tutorial for our brand new system for our online tee time reservation systems that we are launching live starting Tuesday, December 1st. And you will all be able to go online on the club's website and view this recording and learn all the things you need to know about your new tee time reservation system. If anybody has any questions after seeing or watching the video, you can always contact us here at the golf shop or email me at chadp@legendscc.com. We were always here and available to take your questions. Okay, so quick thing, how do I log in? Well, same way you would have logged into your old system, Chelsea. You're going to go to the Legends Golf and Country Club website, and on the home page, you're going to log in with your member info. And once you get to the golf tab here and the drop down box you see in front of you, you're going to go all the way down to where it always has said Chelsea, and that's where you would click on and it would bring you to the Chelsea. It will now be replaced and it will say ForeTees. You will click here, it will say ForeTees, and it's going to bring you to the ForeTees login homepage, which is looks like this here in front of you on your computer screen. You can see here it says Legends Golf and Country Club sign in. So very easy for everyone to remember. Username is going to be your member number. So let's say your member number is 01653. You're going to type in 01653 there as your username, and then your password, which is the next thing down here, will be your last name. That will be for the male members of the household. Member number, and then last name for the password. For the female members of the household, it will be your member number with the letter A after it, and then your password will be your last name. So in the example we used earlier, if you were member number 01653, you were the female member of the household, you would just write in 01653A, and then your password would be your last name. Very simple for everyone to remember. So I'm going to log in with my membership credentials and show you what the homepage of ForeTees looks like once we log in.
Okay, Brad, I have a sorry, Chad, I have a question. Okay.
Yes, sir.
When you said the male members, some of our members are female only, who are golf members, and they're single
Correct.
females. Do they
Correct.
log in essential as a male number, or do they a male member, or do they log in as the female member with the suffix of A?
All the females will have the suffix of A, regardless of whether they have someone else living in their household or not.
Okay, thank you.
So I'm going to log in, and we'll move to the home page of ForeTees with my login here. So I put in my member number, my password, which will be hidden as I type it, but it's my last name, and I hit enter, and it says login accepted. Welcome back, Chad Perkins. You are now witnessing the home page of the ForeTees online tee time reservation system. What you see on your screen is what every member will see on their screen when they log in on their PC from their home computer. All right, you got the golf professional's name, golf shop phone number, emails, things like that, links to the webpage. As soon as we go live with everything, where it says upcoming events or any golf shop news, those will be filled out with a few months worth of information and things coming up here at the club. So the very first thing is, how do I make a tee time request? I mean, that's probably the most popular question. Well, I'm going to go at the very top of my page where it says tee times up here at the very top, all the way over to the left. You see we have a bunch of tabs here, and all the way over to the left is tee times. I'm going to scroll over that, and it's going to have a drop down box. Well, since I'm wanting to make a tee time request, I'm going to hover over make, change, or view tee times, and I'm just going to click on that right there. And this screen is going to come up, which is basically showing me the calendar. You are all used to being able to make tee time requests up to 8 days in advance with your old Chelsea system, and we have kept that the same for you with our new system. So there's no change in the ways you have to program your minds to think about requesting tee times. So today is Tuesday, November 24th. I can make a tee time request as far out in advance, all the way out to Wednesday the 2nd. So let's say I want to play golf on Sunday the 29th. I would click Sunday the 29th, And then this page is going to come up, and right here at the kind of the bottom left-hand portion of the screen here where it says lottery, I need to click that button because I'm making a lottery request. This next screen says lottery request registration. To create a new request, select create new request button below. All right, let's follow the instructions. Let's create a new request. And now this screen is popped up. And it's just going to ask you for a few things. Time and the T that's requested. Well, it's always going to say front since we're going off the front 9 right now, and the club is not doing any crossovers at the time. And I can select anything I want. So let's say I want to play around 9 o'clock. I would select 9:06 because that is the closest time to 9 o'clock. The number of consecutive tee times you wish to request. And this is where the members are used to the word link with Chelsea. Consecutive and link mean the same thing. If you're wanting to link consecutive tee times together, you have more than 4 people playing in a request that you're going to make, you're going to need to change this. But for example purposes, I'm only going to have 4 people play, let's say. So I'm going to leave that as 1, but you can link up to 4 tee times in a row. The number of hours or minutes before this time you are willing to accept. We've preset it at 8 hours, and the number of hours and minutes after the tee time request you are willing to accept. And we've preset that at 8 hours. And what I've always told my members in past clubs that I've worked at, because we've done ForeTees at other clubs I've been to, is always leave this alone unless you just absolutely cannot play any more or less than 8 hours before, because this basically tells ForeTees, I prefer 9:06, but I'm willing to take anything. And as all the members know in season, it's all about just getting something. So if I'm happy with this, I now need to go to the bottom right-hand portion of the screen and click Continue. And now this pops up, and you see there's room for 4 names. Well, since I'm logged in as the member myself, my name is auto-populated into the very first line there. And now it's time for me to add people that I want to play into my request. You see there's options here, partners, members, or guests. Well, we haven't created a partners or a buddies list yet, and we'll do that here in a minute. So I don't have any partners list created, so let's select members. And I'm going to type in the last name of a member that I think is going to play in my tee time with me. So let's use Mr. Bob Latta as an example. I'm going to type in his last name, and Kathy and Bob are going to pop up. I'm going to click on Bob Latta, and he's populated into the second line here. Well, let's say Jim Cummings is another one. I'm going to start typing in the last name for Jim Cummings, and you see Jim and Kathy there. I'll type on Jim Cummings, and then maybe Mr. Bill Hoffman is another person we're going to play golf with today. We'll type in his last name, and we'll click on Bill. And now all 4 slots have been filled out, and I'm ready to hit submit request. Well, wait a second. What if I wanted to leave a note to the staff, maybe telling them that one of us was going to use our private cart, or maybe Mr. Hoffman has a doctor's appointment and can only play 9 holes. Anything we wanted to write in this box here, we could write in this box. We could just type any notes there, and nobody can see that except for the staff. You know, maybe you have guests and you want to pay for your guests, and you leave a note and it says, if my guests arrive before us, don't let them check in. Things of that nature. Anything you want. You'll all get familiar with using that. So if
Chad,
I'm done here, and yes, sir.
sorry, Chad, what is the column that says trans and then CRT drop-down list?
Trans stands for transportation, and
Okay.
you can change this if you're at other clubs to walk or ride, but since we only use carts here, it's always going to say carts. And if you wanted to specify to the golf shop staff that you're going to request 9 holes, you would just click these boxes here that I'm clicking.
So a question that maybe this is just a little bit advanced. So if we are carts only, I guess the less information on the screen to me is always better, okay? Especially if it's not applicable. Is it possible to remove that column in the system so it doesn't confuse anybody?
We would have to ask, yes.
Okay, all right.
All right, so if we're ready for our, if we've got all 4 names in here and we're just ready to hit submit requests. And so now this screen is going to pop up and it says your request has been accepted and processed. It tells me the date that that tee time will be assigned on for the day we've requested. And it says if you want to view or change your request at a later time, just go to the tee times and then my tee times tab. So now I'm all set. I'm just going to hit continue. I've put my request in. Every person in that request just received an email that I made a tee time request for a certain date for a certain time. So let's say Bob Latta called me and said, "Hey, I can't make it. I got an errand I got to run. So I'm going to make, change, or view a tee time." Well, I'm going to be changing a tee time. So let's click there again. And let's go to the 29th. Lottery, view or edit requests. And right here, I see my name is popped in, and we're going to click on this time.
Chad, are you the only one, since it's under your reservation, the one to be able to make the changes?
Anyone in the tee time can make a change, but they can only take themselves out. The captain who originated the tee time request can move anyone around. But if Mr. Latta, since he's the one that needs to remove himself from the tee time, he could go in there and he could only remove or add himself, but he couldn't do it to anybody else. So that's a good question.
Chad, just to
So,
follow on from that, if Bob Latta
uh-huh.
does remove himself from your foursome, do you get a notification?
Everyone in the tee time would get an email, yes.
Excellent. Okay.
Yep. So we'd hit continue. And if I wanted to remove Bob Latta, I'm not going to highlight his name and hit delete because it doesn't allow me to do that. I'm going to hit this minus sign. You see, everyone next to their name has a minus sign. That's the delete button. I'm going to hit minus. And now that just leaves Jim Cummings, William Hoffman, and Chad Perkins. I'm going to hit submit changes because that's what we did. We made a change. And now it's just updated my tee time requests. Now it's just Mr. Hoffman, Mr. Cummings, and myself in there, and everyone got an email, including Bob Latta, that we've removed Bob Latta from the request. Pretty simple. All right. So let's move on to our buddy list. ForeTees refers to it as a partners list. All right. I'm going to go up here to the top middle of the screen where it says partners and guests, and I'm going to click manage partners. And what this is the same thing as you are used to with using Chelsea, that they called a buddy list, where it's the people that you're frequenting golf times with, the people that you're playing the most with. So you're going to go over here on the right-hand portion of the screen, and you're going to type in the last name. Let's continue with the examples we used before. We'll use Bob Latta. Maybe Kathy Latta plays golf with us a lot. Maybe Jim and Kathy Cummings play golf with us a lot. And let's say Gene Murphy, and let's say Bill Hoffman. All right. If I'm all set, and that's my buddy list, now at any point in time, once you log into ForeTees, let's say the first time you log in, you can go in there at any point in time and create your partners list. You all know who you're playing golf with most frequently. You can do this at any point in time, and I'll show you how this is going to help you make tee time requests going forward. So if you look on the left-hand side of the screen here, those are all my new partners or buddy lists, people that I have put into the list I've created. Well, let's alphabetize those to make it a little bit easier to read. I'm going to click right here in the middle, alphabetize, and they will all be alphabetized by the first letter of their last name. All right, and you can see that here, right? So if I'm done, those are the people I most frequently play golf with. And let's just show you what that's going to look like when we want to go make a tee time. So again, let's go down here. Let's make a tee time request for, let's say, Monday, November 30th. I'm going to click lottery, create new request. Let's say we want to play at, I don't know, let's just say 1 o'clock. Okay, we'll leave those because we're willing to accept anything. It keeps our window open. And when you came in here before, there was nobody here in this partners list. We were over here in the members section, and we were typing people's names in. But if I click partners, if you see here on the right-hand side of the screen, I click partners, and my partners' names come up here on the other side of the screen. Well, All I have to do is click on any of those names, and they will join us over here on the left-hand side of the screen into our foursome request. So let's just say, again, we're going to play with Jim Cummings, Bob Latta, and Bill Hoffman. I just click those names, and I would hit Submit Request. And again, the tee times will be signed on 11/26. It's telling us the date that that tee time is going to be assigned for the 30th, which is 4 days in advance. That's what the membership is used to here. We're continuing that and keeping it the same. And we would just hit continue. So you see, once I created my partners list, it was a lot faster for me to go through there and put the names into the request, okay? So let's talk about points. This is going to be the thing that you're going to need to pay the most attention to. Once you get used to it, you'll like it, and it'll be the most fair point system you've ever used in a lottery. Right now, we're used to using a single point system, meaning if you play golf, you get a point. The way ForeTees distributes their points is a little differently, but it's the most fairest and accurate way, and it's called weighted by proximity. And what that means is you get 1 point, or yes, 1 point for every minute your actual tee time is from the requested tee time you made. For example, if I requested 8 o'clock and my group, when the lottery was released, when the tee sheet was released to the membership, if my group got 8:30, my group is happy. That is within 30 minutes of our request. We all will get 1 point because it's weighted by proximity, your requested time in proximity to your actual time. I requested 8 a.m. I got 8:30. That's 30 minutes. There's 1 point for every minute. Now, for those of you who are thinking, wow, that's a lot of points, we'll never get to play golf again, that's not the way this system works. You have to flip your thinking in the way that you've always worked with points here. I know high points have always been detrimental here. That is not the case with the new system. The lower your points here, the worse it is for you going forward trying to get a tee time. So the lottery is still going to work the same way as far as if you're playing a lot of golf, you may not play a lot of golf. It's going to catch up to you the next time, maybe next week or in a few days. And the reason why this is the fairest lottery point system that they have is because if my group requests 8 o'clock and I get 8:15, we're happy. We all get 1 point. If there's a competing group here next to me requesting the same day at 8 o'clock and that person gets 9:15, they're an hour and 15 minutes later and they also get 1 point. Well, that's not really fair. So in that scenario, everyone is going to get 1 point for every minute their actual tee time is from their request. I've used all types of different point systems in lotteries, and this is the absolute most fairest lottery point system there is. It'll take you a few minutes to get used to it, but once you do, you realize it's all about fair play, and that's what we want to promote here at the Legend.
So
Question,
Chad,
So
Yeah.
I just want to make absolutely sure I understand this, because obviously point
right.
has always been a serious point of contention at Legends for many reasons. So I just want to recap. So I've requested
Sure.
an 8 a.m. tee time. I get
Yep.
8:30, and I get
Yep.
how many points allocated to me?
You would get 30 because
30.
you would get 1 point for every minute there is from your actual tee time to the request that you made.
Right. So there's the paradigm shift, right? So the more points you
Correct.
have, okay,
Correct.
which was detrimental in the old Chelsea system, is now more beneficial in that
Correct.
aspect when looking for the next tee time within, say, the same period or the next period, whatever.
That's correct. Yep,
Okay.
that's correct.
Okay, and just as a roll on from that, sorry, okay, I'll pass on this question. Sorry, carry on. Renee, you had a question as well.
yes, so Chad, every
Mhm.
person in the group gets 30 points, correct?
That is correct. Yes. That is correct. Same way it is now. Every person would get like a point or whatever it was, for getting a tee time that they've requested. And the same thing here. Everybody that's attached to that group, once that tee time has been assigned and released from the system, they get those points immediately. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, perfect,
Yes.
thank
Okay,
you.
good. Oh, you're welcome. Now that we've talked about points and we've created a partners list, let's go look at something that the members here are familiar with, which is when they're putting their requests together, they want to know how many points do certain partners have so they can maximize the opportunity of getting a tee time. Well, we've created our partners list, and we've explained how your weights or your points work. ForeTees refers to them as weights, but we can call them points because that's what everybody's used to. If you want to know before you make a request, how many points do my partners have before I put everything together? Well, we're going to go up here to search at the top of the screen, and we're going to drop down to the first option, which says current member weights. This will allow you, if you click on members right here, to search any member in the Legends community and find out how many points they have. But if you want a quick way to find out how many points do each of your partners have on your buddy list, you're going to click partners. And if you see, the same partners that we just built in our partners list before are right here. And we're going to go down to the bottom of the screen where it says display all partners. And we're going to click there, and it's going to bring all my partners up, as you see here on the left-hand side of the screen. And then next to their name, it will give you the weight that they currently have right that minute at that moment in time that you're looking to put things together. So you had that ability before in Chelsea. You still have that ability now. All right. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect. That is one of the customization features that they created for us because it was very important to us here at the Legends that we were able to maintain that feature, and we certainly wanted to be able to provide that for the membership. So there you are with that. All right. So let's talk about one of my favorite features, which is how do I sign up for my league or a club event, say like a Veterans Day or a club championship or any event that the club is hosting? Well, as you know, in the past, anytime you wanted to sign up for a club event or a league, you would come into the golf shop, you would pick one of the binders over in the corner there where the handicap posting computer is normally stationed at, and you would just kind of flip through there, pick the right binder that you're looking for, and you would sign your initials there, this and that and the other. However, that's an old school way of doing things, and we're moving on into the new technology, and that's where ForeTees comes in. So think of the binders or how you have always signed up for club events or league plays, and this is the new online way you're going to sign up for all of those options. You're going to go up to the top of the screen here. Let's go back to the home page so it looks a little bit better for everybody. Top of the screen next to tee times, it says events. Think of all leagues and all club events as events, and you're going to click on that tab right there. So let's click on that, and this screen is going to come up. And what you're going to see is every league and every event for the entire season is going to be in order by date to be played. So today is the 24th, so you see the ladies LLNHGA, that is our Legends 9-hole Ladies League. That is the very first thing you see at the top. The very next thing that we're going to have here at the club is our Women's 18-hole League, which is right here. And then again, the next thing we will have would be next Monday's LMGA Men's League Golf Association. Well, if you look over to the right-hand side, it will tell you signups. Everybody see right here where it says signups? Well, the 9-hole Ladies League, the signups are not available. Why is that? Well, because that's already been played today. So you can't click on here. There's no sign up available for that. And then tomorrow, if we were to log on again, that would be gone completely. You wouldn't even have the ability to sign up. Once the next day rolls, that is gone. You can't even click on it. So the next thing that we could technically sign up for would be the Men's League on Monday. So let's click on there. Again, I'm a male member. I'm logged into the system. So I'm looking to play in the Men's League. So I clicked on that tab, and it says, because of the format selected for this event, you can only register yourself. To sign up for this event, select register. And here is the itinerary for that event. Here's where the tee times start. It's a Men's League event. They're going to take up to maybe 120 players. It's $5 cost per member. Anything that we want to write in here. if we knew what the format was, we would write here and we would say maybe it's two better balls a partner, or maybe they were playing a scramble. Once we, we'll have everything finalized. We'll have all that stuff filled out for everybody, and you'll see it right there. And then there's a little itinerary briefing here. LMGA weekly game, $5 entry fee, all winnings paid out in golf shop credits. It says there are currently no players registered for this event. Well, we know why that is. We haven't started using ForeTees yet, but we're pretending we are. And then it says you are not registered for this event. That's specific to me because I'm logged in as a member. Well, I want to register, so how do I do that? If I look at the bottom right-hand portion of the screen where it says register, I would click there. And once again, you will see, because I am logged in as myself as a member, my name was automatically auto-populated into the line there, okay? Now, it's a single person sign up because it's an individual game or what have you. It's not a team game. So there are no other lines for me to add anybody else. It doesn't matter if I try over here, it won't let me. So I'm done at this point. I've signed up, and now all I have to do is hit submit requests. And what does it say? Thank you. Your event registration has been accepted and processed. Okay, well, I just got verification that I signed up. But more than that, I just got an email confirming that I signed up.
Hey, Chad,
Yes.
what was it? There was a handicap tab there. Are you supposed to fill something in there?
In that area where we just were?
Yeah, under to register. See the next to the cart, how it says handicap number and gender.
That would be something that we would fill out from the administration side of ForeTees if we wanted to put everybody's like GIN numbers in there, but that is something that we generally don't do, but it's an option that they leave there in case we ever wanted to do it.
So it's kind of a minute category there for
Yeah,
members.
yeah, for us anyways, it's something that's a staple with ForeTees because lots of clubs do it. Some do, some don't. So it's part of kind of their basic look, if you will.
Is there a way to
That makes
shut that off along with the carts?
Sure, we can call and ask them. Absolutely. Yeah,
Okay,
it doesn't hurt
thank
to
you.
call and ask them.
Yeah, because
Yeah, no problem.
I think on that one, people may be, I guess when I see empty boxes that require a fill-in, people do tend to try and fill it in. If it means nothing, and as you say, unless we move to a complete GIN, handicap insert on a mass basis, if we can get it taken out, especially the gender part as well, it's
Right.
not too sure if that's really applicable here.
Well, sometimes there are things that require a gender based on, is it a men's league thing or is it a ladies league thing? And what it does is it prevents a lady from signing up for the men's league event and likewise a male from signing up for a ladies league event. So sometimes, but we'll certainly call them and try to work on getting those removed. It's certainly
Chad, does it allow you to put something in there? Just let's say a member tries to put something in there. Would it say it doesn't matter, or you could still put your handicap number and your gender and we'd be fine? There you go.
So it allowed us to do it, yes. So we'll get it taken away, but the gender thing may not be able to be taken away because sometimes they need to read based on the type of event if a certain gender can play based on it being a men's or a ladies league. But we'll call them and try to get the other stuff removed. If you don't think it's necessary and you would prefer that the membership doesn't have access to even look at something that they're never going to have to change, we can certainly get them to remove that. I'm sure. I don't think that's
Yeah, I
an
think
issue.
less is better in this case, Chad.
But they may say no. But I will certainly we will certainly try. So all right. So in the same way that, let's say a couple days goes by and I realize I forgot something, I can't play on Monday in the men's league, I would just I would log on to ForeTees, I would go to events, I would click that men's league that I was signed up for, and I could go to your registration. I can hit cancel registration right here, cancel, and it's going to tell me that all the players from this sign up, which means just me, it's all the players in this sign up. I'm signed up as a single. Now I'm going to hit cancel sign up. And I also just got an email confirmation telling me that I have just been removed from that sign up. So there's lots of email confirmations when you're making and then request or getting a tee time, and then, also, maybe removing yourself or someone else from a request if you're the captain of the tee time, if that
So
makes
one
sense.
thing that
So,
was pretty cool there, Chad, is when let's just say I signed up, but I couldn't remember if I signed up. Once you clicked on it, it showed you were already signed up for this event.
that is correct, right. And another way, so that was my next point. So let me go sign myself back up so I can just show you this. I'm gonna have lots of emails on my inbox when I get done with this, with all this in and out here. So, all right. So let's say I wanted to see, geez, I forgot how many things I signed up for this week or in the coming weeks or whatever. So I can go to Tee Times. I can go to my Tee Times list at the bottom. That's the last option there. And it's going to show me everything that I currently have my name attached to. Well, there's two sections here. It says your current event registration. So that was going to tell me everything league-wise or club event-wise that I'm signed up for. And it says LMGA on the 30th of November, which we know is next Monday. And I'm signed up, and it says status registered. And then it has how many lottery requests my name is attached to. Well, there's one for Sunday the 29th with Cummings and Hoffman at 9:06. And there's one for Monday the 30th with Cummings, Lotta, and Hoffman. Again, this is another area that I can go to remove myself from something. Let's say, something came up and I can't play in the Sunday 9:06 requested time. I could just click there. I hit continue, and I would just hit the minus sign and take myself out, hit submit changes, and then continue. And now, if you look, Jim Cummings and Bill Hoffman are the only ones in that tee time request. And even though my name's not there, it's still showing because I was the originator of the tee time request. So I'm kind of the captain, if you will. You know what I mean?
So Chad, just a
Yeah.
question. Let's just say now Mr. Cummings said, well, I got an email, Chad, you took yourself out, but let's get another person to take your spot. You're the only one who could put somebody in there?
That other person can put themselves in there because there's two openings. Whoever that other person is, or I can, or they can call the golf shop. Same way that they're doing it with Chelsea now.
Okay.
So here's a
So
question
very
then,
similar.
Chad. So this
Yep,
is just
sure.
my request. So let's go to the point where this is, it's still got that window, that 8 to 4 days before publishing of the, the tee time is published 4 days
Sure.
before the actual request. So
Right.
I, as just not a buddy of Jim Cummings, Bill Hoffman, Bob Latta, etc., I'm not aware of this until the tee time is actually published. Okay.
Right.
At that point, I can see 2 vacant spots. So I say, hey, I want to be a buddy with Jim Cummings and Bill Hoffman.
You want
I
to play
can
with
then
them.
go in and I can pop my name in. Is that correct?
You have to call the golf shop because what you've always done here at the club is 4 days in advance is when we release tee sheets. And at that point, even with Chelsea, the club has never allowed the members to touch a tee sheet.
Okay, so that is exactly the same process with ForeTees as it was with Chelsea.
Exactly.
Okay, in other words,
Correct.
prior to the tee sheet being published, we can not manipulate, it's the wrong word, but we can make any number of changes based on some of the examples you've provided to get to the point of the lottery being published or run
Correct.
and the tee times are being published, and then it's open season.
That is correct.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. Same way you've always been able to do it with Chelsea. We could always change that if the club ever decided they wanted to change it, but I wanted to keep things similar to the way you were doing them now. And the golf committee and Renee, when we had our demo with them, agreed that 4 days is what we're doing, and then the members can't touch the tee sheet once it's released. And so that's the way we have set up ForeTees for now. So nothing changes there in that aspect. All right. So we've gone over points. We've gone over how to make a tee time. We've gone over creating a partners list. And we've gone over how to kind of take our names out or so on and so forth. There's really only a couple other things that you want to discuss here. And let's talk about one of those, which is email. You can email the membership from within here. You know, you can still use your personal email from home. Some people like to email from ForeTees, but you can create an email partners list, if you will. So how do I do that? Well, I hover over emails, and then I'm going to hit manage distribution list because I need to create a distribution list, right? And I'm going to click there. And it's going to say, click the appropriate icon to edit or delete existing distribution list. To add a new list, select Add Distribution List. Well, I'm creating a new list, so let's follow those directions and click Add Distribution List. All right. Well, again, you see that my partners have come up here. Well, more than likely, the same people that I'm playing golf with are going to be the same people I want to email for a particular reason. So let's name this list number 1, and I'm just going to click on all these people here and make them part of that list. You can create as many lists as you want, but only 30 people can go to each list, and that's because of spam reasons, which nobody has any control with for email. That's an email thing. It's not a ForeTees thing. So I can create list number 1. I can put up to 30 member names in it, and then down here on the bottom right, I would hit Save List. And if you see here, I have list number 1. Well, let's add another one. Let's call it list number 2. And now I've used all my partners, so I'm going to have to go to different members. So let's just type in the letter A, and it's going to bring in all of the members whose last names start with A. So let's just click 4, 5, 6 people here and say, okay, let's just say that's 30 people. Hit Save List, and now I've got 2 lists there. So let's say I want to send an email to one of these lists. I'm going to go up to the top where it says Email. I'm going to click Send Email. And I'm going to first select Add Recipient. I'm going to hover over Add Recipients. Well, I want to add one of my distribution lists. Which one is it, 1 or 2? Let's just select number 1. And I'm going to click Add Selected List. And so those people who are in my first distribution list are now going to receive whatever email I decide to send, which is, let's just call it Subject Test. And let's just, whatever the messages I want to write in there. And then I would go down here and hit Send Email. And then there's a confirmation saying your message has been sent. Thank you. It's now been keyed for delivery. Your recipients should receive their email message soon. So whatever it was I was sending, they all just got it. We don't have the emails turned on to the members yet, so they literally they didn't get anything just now. But it's you get my point. All right.
Hey, Chad.
So that's yes.
Question. This comes in a mobile app on your phone as well.
It sure does.
Will you get a notation on your mobile app that you have an email sitting there?
You will get a notation on your regular email on your phone that you've been emailed from somebody in your partners group via ForeTees. I'll have to double check when I do my tutorial with them over the phone later today about the app, because they have a lot of new features since I first brought the app onto my last club 5 or 6 years ago. And I don't know if there's like a push notification for that, but there quite possibly could be. But we'll find out for sure.
Okay,
So,
thanks. But it goes
sure.
to my regular email, so however you're getting emails now.
Yeah, so your phone's going to ding anyways, or alert you, if you will, one way or the other. You're either going to get a push notification through the app, or you're going to get an alert on your phone, just like you do now, like when you get work emails. So
Okay.
Same thing there.
Thank
All
you.
right. So you're welcome. So another thing we want to talk about, we talked about earlier about when we made a tea time or a tea time request, let's say, and we talked about number of consecutive tea times you wish to request. This is what the membership here in Chelsea has always referred to as linking. This means consecutive linked times. Now, I know most of the members here have figured out that linking times together doesn't necessarily allow you to get on the golf course. It kind of gives you a less chance of getting on the golf course, because you're saying to the system, we want to be together. And I know a lot of ladies groups and a lot of men's groups here have decided, well, we would prefer to play together, but we're kind of willing to take anything we want. You might have 2 or 3 tea times in a row, and then you might have, a tea time or 2 where it's not your group and you're just kind of scattered. You're just trying to get everybody. So we created a way with the ForeTees tech team where you could still make multiple tea time requests, but not link them together. And it's very, very simple. Again, let's say I'm the leader of a men's group that's about 60 guys. And, you know, I'm kind of the guy that puts everything together. I know we have a few members out there. And there's a few ladies who have a similar group and a few men that have a similar group. Let's just say my group, there's 50, 60 guys in it. We play 3 times a week. And I want to make a tea time request for everybody, but I don't want to link them together. Here's how that would be done. I'm going to go up to the top of my screen. Let's just start from the home page again. I'm going to go up to the top of my screen where it says tea times. I'm going to go to make change your view, because what am I doing? I'm making a tea time request. And let's say it's going to be for Tuesday, December 1st, a week from today. All right. We know that that's Ladies' Day, so we're going to go down here to the lottery and click lottery, and then I'm going to click create new requests. I'm going to leave this alone as one, because remember, I don't want to make them consecutive or link them, so I'm going to leave that alone. And let's say we want to play around 12 o'clock, preferably. We're going to select 12:06. That's the closest time to my preference. I'm going to hit continue. My name is auto-populated in the first slot. Like always, I'm going to be playing, so let's just select Jim Cummings, Bill Hoffman, Bob Latta, and I hit submit requests, and it tells me thank you. It tells me the date that those tea times will be assigned. I hit continue, and it takes me back to this page. I'm going to hit lottery again. I'm going to hit create new requests. And let's say we want to play around 12 o'clock. Continue. My name is always going to be auto-populated in the first line here, so I'm going to hit minus. And then let's say we're going to play with John Aquavella, Albert Alicante, Dennis Allaire, and let's say Mark Anderson. These guys are all part of my group. I'm responsible for making the requests. I've put their names in, and I'm going to hit submit request, and it says, thank you. Your request has been accepted and processed. All 4 of those guys just got an email that I made a tea time request for them. So exactly what you're able to do with Chelsea now. You're able to make multiple tea time requests, one person leading a group, if you will, but not linking them together if you so choose to not link them. All right, let's do another one. Again, remember, I have about 60 guys that I'm trying to make tea time requests for. We're all picking the same time, so in hopes that we get a tea time that's near each other. So let's play with Mr. Babish, and let's say Dave Bagnall, and Bob Baker. And again, my name is in the first slot here, so I need to take myself out. And how about Terry Barcelos? Submit request. Tells me when it will be assigned. Hit continue, and there you go. And so that's it. And then whatever that date was that it said it would be released, which is the 27th, to release the 1st, because we're requesting for something that's Tuesday, December 1st. There you have it. I have now, as the captain of a group of guys who are playing a couple days a week, I have requested multiple tea times without telling the system we want to be linked consecutively. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Mr. McDowell, does that make sense? Is that pretty standard stuff like we're doing now in Chelsea? Are you still there, Mr. McDowell?
Yeah.
Oh,
Still hear me?
sorry, I
Yeah,
couldn't
I'm
hear.
sorry. Maybe
There you
sorry.
go. I got
just
you.
one
You
other
can hear me?
question. Yeah, can you still
Sure.
hear me? Yeah, one of the other
Absolutely. Yes,
questions
sir.
that I still have is, right now we can only see the front tea time on the examples you've given us. If we
Correct.
roll over to the, the split tea times, okay?
Crossovers.
Yeah, crossover, excuse me. If I put in for the front 9, does that automatically exclude me from getting a back 9 tea time?
It does not. They give you options because there's 2 7 o'clocks and 2 7:09s and 2 7:18s, and so the one of them they have to differentiate which one is which, so the software can read it. So it'll say 7 o'clock front, 7 o'clock back. You'll just pick anything you want, and 50 other members can pick the same exact thing. And what'll happen is it will not exclude you from the back or the front, depending on what you picked. The only thing that has anything to do with that is now going to be your points with your group versus all the other members requesting something similar. and their points against you,
Right.
the same way
Okay.
it works now.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah. And if I move on to the lottery part of it now as well, in the past, the number of Chelsea points, and in this case on the ForeTees, it's the number of weights. Are they still averaged across all playing members on the lottery request? Is that still the same?
Yes. So if I have 50 points and you have 50 points and the next two people in our tea time have 50 points, they're going to add those up, divide it by 4, and our tea time request group, just for the 4, has an average of 200 divided by 4, which is 50 points, and that's what our group is going into the competition of getting a tea time with. Same way it
Okay.
does now, same exact
All right.
way.
So
All right?
I'm just going to shift one more because I got another question while it's still valid in my mind. Renters, okay? In the past, we have allocated X amount of points to renters to start off their
Correct.
tenure at Legends, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, whatever it is. And that
Correct.
just really brings them up on a par with the regular members. Is that still
Correct.
a feature or a function within ForeTees?
That's a great question, and yes, it is. And what we've decided is that when a new member or a renter or someone just kind of entering the system for the first time comes in, everyone like that would start with 200 points. That way, it's not the highest, so they're not going to dominate getting on the tee sheet, but it's not lowest and prevent them from getting on the tee sheet. It's kind of right in the middle, which is what you did with the what was it that you gave them? I think it was 3
So it's
when
3
someone
points, I
came in.
believe. Yes.
Right. So it's kind of the middle of the road. 200 is kind of the middle of the road, if you will. You want new members to come in and be able to play the facility within the first couple weeks of moving here or renting here, but you don't want them to be able to get something 7 days in a row and prevent everyone else from playing, which is, I assume, why you came up with the 3-point rule, and that's why I kept that in play. And in discussing things with the tech support at ForeTees, we decided that 200 would probably be the most fair number to keep in line with the 3 that we currently use.
And,
All
and
right?
that's a nice segue into my next question, if I may.
Sure.
In the past, we've had and in this case of renters, they have no history because we previously had a 14-day move-in window where the
Right.
points were accumulated and or dropped off as that window moved. Is that still in play on ForeTees, the 14-day window?
So let me just say that again so I can follow you exactly. So you're saying that the renters would come in and have no play history, so they would have no points working for or against them, essentially helping them, and they would get on the tee sheet more, is what you're saying.
Well, what I'm saying is to avoid that, okay, we allocated them 3 points under the previous
Correct.
system. And now you're saying they
Correct.
get 200 points on this one. That's because
Right.
they had no history. So it doesn't give them an unfair advantage on their first request. Regular
Right.
playing members or people who are down there in season have history because once they're been in on site for the last 2 weeks at least, whether you're a full-time resident or part-time, you start to create history over that 14-day
Sure.
window.
Sure.
So the lottery as well it looked back over that 14 days from the tee time on your requests and previously requests and so on, and said, how many points does this person have? And in the foursome, did the math and then said, this is where we're going to
Sure.
slot them on the lottery. Is that exactly the same in ForeTees?
I understand what you're saying now. Yes, it's still a 14-day rolling, rotating cycle.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. Excellent.
Same
Okay.
exact thing. Yep.
Super. Thank you.
You're very welcome. All right. So another thing I wanted to point out to the membership was, and not really sure how aware everybody is of this, but if you're not, you're going to be now. And here's another great feature of the 4T system. So let's use this day, for example. If you look here, I am on Tuesday, December 1st. This is Tuesday, December 1st tee sheet. All right. Now, if you look, since we're doing tee times for the 9-hole ladies league, we have blocked from 7 o'clock in the morning till 10:27. This is just an example that we're giving everybody. This is not what it literally is going to look like, if we ever go back to shotguns or whatever. But for now, they are doing tee times, and we've blocked from the first tee time till 10:27 because it's their day, it's their morning. And when I go, if you notice, 10:27 is when I block the tee time for the 9-holes league. So if I go make a request for this day, Let's hit create new request. The earliest tee time I can make is what? 10:36. It doesn't allow me to request a tee time that I could never possibly get because that's the ladies 9-hole league tee times. Does everybody follow me on that?
Yes.
Okay. Right now in Chelsea, whether you're aware of it or not, you could go request 8 a.m. knowing that 8 a.m. doesn't exist because that's when the 9-hole ladies league is going to be playing. So what it does is it allows you to request a tee time that technically doesn't exist. You get something later, and it gives you a more favorable point working for you for the next time when really that shouldn't be allowed.
Right.
I think we could all agree on that.
Absolutely.
So, right. So the way ForeTees works is once I set up all the leagues and the league times and so on and so forth, whatever I set those times up for, as you can see in front of you on the screen, it's not going to allow you to select anything earlier than the first tee time after we're saying league play is done. Let's use a shotgun, for example. Let's talk about Mondays. Let's say it's men's league day and they do a shotgun, and let's say they shotgun it. Let's just call it 8 a.m. Okay. Let's say we give them 4.5 hours to play, which means 12:30 they're going to be done. 12:36 would be the first time on a Monday that we're using as our example. That would be the earliest tee time anyone could request. It's not going to let them request 9 a.m. because it doesn't exist. Right now in Chelsea, it does allow that though. And so people who know that, whether it's intentional or not, they're able to get favorable points working for them going forward. And really, the system shouldn't be set up to allow that, in my opinion. And I know we all agree on that. So another feature with ForeTees is that goes away now. So
Excellent
I
feature.
look at that as a yes, I agree. I look at that as a wonderful bonus, icing on the cake type of situation. So that is pretty much the quick, easy tutorial instructions. There's not a whole lot else for the members to do in ForeTees that we haven't showed you. You know how to sign up for events. You know how to sign up, make change, view tee times, add a name, take a name away. We've showed you how to create an email list, a distribution list, and we've showed you how to create a partners list and then go over here to the search button where it says current member weights, and we've showed you how to check on your partners and see how many weights or points, if you want to call them that, they have before you put certain people into certain requests. So basically everything that the membership is currently used to doing, they still have access to, but now it's more streamlined. Everything's online. There's no more binders in the golf shop. There's no more accidentally, did I sign up? Did I not sign up? Did someone erase my name? Did someone not erase my name? Everything you do will come with an email confirmation. If you're at home, you right now have to walk over to the golf shop and sign up for something or call us. Well, you can still call us. We always welcome phone calls. But what will happen now is if you call us and say, hey, I forgot to sign up for the ladies 9-hole league next Tuesday, could you walk over there and do it for me? Well, sometimes the staff gets distracted, the phone rings 12 times or whatever. Unfortunately, it happens, human error. We don't go over there, or maybe, now when you call and ask that same question, you're going to get an email confirmation right away that we signed you up. And if you don't right away, then you know to call back and say, hey, I don't know if you got distracted or not potentially, but don't forget to sign me up. Again, there's still a human element to these things, and things happen, and we try to avoid those at all costs, but we all know that it's going to happen from time to time. So does anybody else have any questions?
Yeah, just one other question, if I may, Chad. I know that, I guess about a year, maybe a year and a half ago, there were people who were going in just to create a request for 2 o'clock. They would get the 18 holes in, but would get 0 points at that time. That was then moved to 4 o'clock, and it was half a point. Given the fact that 4 o'clock, particularly at certain times in the winter, 18 holes isn't scored. I guess if you get that tee time, regardless of what time of day it is, If you get the tee time you asked for, you basically get 0 points, which, as we've said
That,
before, is the paradigm shift. However, if I ask for 4 o'clock and I get 4:30, I get 30 points assigned to me, or 30 weights assigned to me, and that's what I live with. Correct?
that's correct. That's correct. Yep.
Okay.
And I know the club struggled with that in the past, and you came up with, well, I think either after 4 or 4:30, I think it was 4, you were giving everybody a half a point.
Correct.
Well, it's because you had to come up with something. I understand it, but there was really no way to, what's the perfect scenario? Well, like I told the golf committee when I was, showing them these products, and as well as Renee, if I purposely want to take one of those later tee times and I ask for 4 and I get 4, 4:15, 4:30, whatever, I'm happy I got something close. Whatever the difference between my time is compared to my request, that's the number of points I'm going to get.
Mhm.
And so if I want to play at 4 o'clock bad enough and I get 4 o'clock, I should be happy because that's the request I made. I'm going to get a 0.
Correct.
No different than if I wanted to play at 8 o'clock and I got an 8 o'clock. That's also going to be a 0.
Mhm. But that's the big paradigm shift, isn't it? The lower number of points, um, I won't say detrimental, that's the wrong term, but
The
it's less
worst.
advantageous. Yes, it's less
There you
advantageous
go.
than
It's
somebody
all
with
about the verbiage.
4,000
Yeah.
points. Maybe that's extreme.
Correct.
Okay, so maybe
Correct.
one
Yeah.
last comment, if I may, then, Chad.
Sure.
Very impressed. There's no doubt about it. Certainly
Thank you.
from a technical perspective, the user interface is much smoother, is much
Sure.
more pleasing. Apart from the little things we've talked about on this demo, and I like it, and I like the features and everything else. A lot of the features are very similar, so that will
Uh-huh.
be good for the transition because, like most things, sometimes change is hard to accept in certain areas,
Sure.
and
Sure.
so on, and that's that's acceptable. But I think the fact that it contains much of the same features as the old system will help big time
I agree.
in moving to the new system, and I do like it. One last question. Having said all of that, what is the top 1 or 2 things in your mind that really pushed us towards going to ForeTees and removing Chelsea from the from our systems?
Well, that's a great question, and I'm glad you asked it, and I'm happy to share. So for me, on an operational level, I will give you what I think is the 3 best things that for why we moved from Chelsea to ForeTees. So number 1, and they're in no particular order, they could all be tied 1, 2, 3. Number 1 would be the elimination of the binders and signing up with pencil and paper and writing your initials next to something. Okay.
Yes.
When we opened up the signups for the Veterans Day thing a few weeks ago, well, I guess it was probably about a month and a half ago now or whatever. I sat out there, or it doesn't matter if it was me or my staff members. The golf shop, sat out there, and at 6:30 a.m. when the golf shop doors opened, you had a line of 30 members out there trying to do a first come first serve thing to sign up for this. Now, when we go live with something like that, instead of us setting up a table and the members having to get out of bed at the crack of dawn, they just go on the computer and they go to the events tab. They click down to where it says Veterans Day or Club Championship or whatever it is that we're signing up for, and they just register. And we will set the parameters. I mean, if I say we're going to take the first 50 foursomes, let's say, we're going to do 200 people, then once it reaches 50, you're shut out. And it will allow you to sign up, but it will tell you you're on the waiting list.
Mhm.
And so nobody has to get out of bed and beat the roosters up at the crack of dawn to come over here to sign up for a golf event that's 3 weeks away. You know what I mean?
And if I
To,
recall on the events, it said when that electronic book was open. If I recall the
cor-
screen. Yeah. Okay.
correct. Correct. So, for the weekly league events, it's always going to be 1 week in advance. And for our bigger things like Veterans Day, Club Championship, Senior Championship, I think the club has always been used to like a 3-week advance sign up. And so we will keep it 3 weeks in advance. I've always done a 30-day sign up for the bigger events at my previous clubs, but I know this club has always been used to 3 weeks. So far we've left it at 3 weeks.
Okay.
And you can do that all from home or on your phone once we give you the app, and whatever. You don't have to, come up here at the crack of dawn anymore and try to get in line in the freezing, and it'll be kind of chilly this time of the year, depending on what day of the week it is, as we go into, well, I'm a native Floridian, so for me, I say chilly. Some people are from up north, they might
Hey,
disagree with me.
hey, you want to
The
see chilly? Let me show you the snow outside my window.
See, that's why I added that disclaimer at the end there. I say chilly because I'm from South Florida originally. The other feature I would say, and again, this is operationally, and the membership would not necessarily realize this is going on, but I'm going to show you on the computer, and this can be part of our recording. And if we decide to edit it out, that's fine. But I'll show you. So when we do the let me just log in here for a second. So this is the administration side of ForeTees. It'll look a little different. This is not what you will ever see. This is what we see as a staff. And then so if I could go to, whoops, trying to pull up another tab here, but it keeps, oh, anyways. So when I go to say, right now, for example, when I'm ready to, let's say tomorrow, for example, we got our ladies 18-hole league playing tomorrow. And at some point this afternoon, me, the guys or myself, the staff or myself, we're going to say, all right, we got to pull the binder over there. We got to put all the names in. We got to get the scorecards printed. And here's the process right now. We go to the back room or my office or wherever. We pull the names, and one by one in our computer tournament software system, because the names are single sign up on the binder out front there, we have to click, we have to look at the name, go to the software, click the name in, one by one, click the name, look at the next name, click the name, look at the next name. That takes, over the course of a season, a very, very long time. I think we could all agree on that. Let me show you what that looks like now. Let's say, let me pick an event here where we got some people signed up. Well, we don't have anybody sign up for anything yet except for where I sign myself up right here for the men's league next week. Let's say we'll use this as an example. So let's say now it's time to pull the men's league, and I'm going to go in here. I'm going to click this, and it's going to give me a list of all the players signed up. The list is not very long because there's only myself signed up for the example I gave you earlier. I'm going to go export players over here on the left. You see where I'm at right here? You see that?
Yes.
I'm going to click export players, and it minimized to the bottom of my screen on the left there. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
I'm then going to go up here to a different tab. I'm going to bring up my tournament software thing. I'm going to click a button that says export or import players. I'm going to click and hold this thing right here, and I'm going to drag this over like this, and I'm going to let it go. And everybody who signed up for that particular event is now imported into that thing. And all we have to do is put the pairings together, click print scorecards, and we're done. I mean, that took maybe 7 or 8 seconds, maybe.
And normally, how long does it take you, Chad?
We're probably spending 20 or 30 minutes on these smaller events. We're not busy yet. The events right now aren't very large with signups. We got 40, 50 names, and we're spending probably 20 or 30 minutes. Because you have to remember, while we're doing one at a time, click and look at the next name, the phone rings or someone walks in or whatever. So there's distractions and it takes a little bit longer, but I'd say probably 20 or 30 minutes for each event. Well, there's 3 leagues a week. So there's an hour and a half right there. And if we throw in a week, like a couple weeks ago where we did like the senior championship, that's 2 days. So there's 2 more, that's 5. I mean, now we're talking 2.5 hours a week. And what I'd like to do with that 2.5 hours is I'd like to have the staff out at the counter more or outside walking the range or, maybe over the chipping area, just servicing the membership in different ways, if you will, from a service perspective and not spending all this time clicking names over into these things.
This is very much a pro shop efficiency tool as well.
Oh, sure, sure. And, the money we're saving on labor as well, we could be using that time, outside,
Sure. More FaceTime, yeah.
Doing, more FaceTime and service with the members. So, and the other thing is when you look at Chelsea and when you look at ForeTees operationally and from the members' perspective, and the members will eventually agree to this, it is so much better interface-wise for the staff and the membership. This is now the 3rd club that I've been a part of installing ForeTees when we currently had Chelsea. And I would almost bet to say both of my previous clubs that I was at before here, 100% of the members would say if they had an option to keep ForeTees or go back to Chelsea, they would all say, we never want to go back to Chelsea. Once they get used to the operational aspects of ForeTees. At first, I agree with you. Everybody goes, uh-oh, it looks different. It's changed. I get that. But once they kind of get used to the feel of it and how it looks or whatever, it's a no-brainer. And I know you can see that, So
Yeah,
so you
I
asked me
love
for a
I
couple
love the
examples, and
interface.
those are them. Yes.
Yeah, I
Yes.
really do
And
like it. It's so much simpler and it's quite intuitive. And yes,
one of the biggest things that we talked about in the interview process was we want to be updated in technology, and here we go. This is one of them right here. So, and I'm proud to be a part of it. And so that's pretty much it. And you asked me for a couple examples of what my favorite things are, and those are them.
good.
Chad, you said there was 3 major reasons for moving on the back of the house. What's the third one?
Well, not necessarily just the back of the house, but just my favorite things. The first one was the event sign up. The second one was the the ability to train the staff and the way it looks for the staff and the membership. And I got kind of tongue tied there. They were all kind of 3 intertwined into those 2 points right there. So
Okay,
I kind of said everything within those 2 points, really.
perfect.
Yeah, and I got to go back to this user interface part, Chad, because I don't know whether Renee told you, and I'm sure you'll edit this out from this recording, Renee, but when I first came on board about 6 years ago, I was very much lost as to what Chelsea was, how did it work, and everything else, and why did it work that way, okay? And so I got involved with Bill Hoffman's blessing, and I actually ended up writing that Chelsea Users Guide, okay? However, in spite of that, the number of times I'd been in the pro shop and I heard the pro shop staff putting in tea times for people who were still having difficulty with Chelsea. And there was quite a
Sure.
few of them. I think
Mhm.
this time around, from what I've seen in this hour or so, I think there's going to be a bigger pickup amongst the people who didn't use the Chelsea system before, and hopefully that will take less of your staff's time as well. I
Sure.
really,
Sure.
I'm hoping that's the case because that's the way I feel about it right now. So time will tell, but
Good.
full speed ahead.
Thank
I'm right behind this.
I agree, and one thing I'll always say to the membership is there's always going to be a faction of people who just prefer to call. They kind of like that interaction with the professional staff, or they stop by and say, "Hey, can you throw me in a group or make this?" And we always welcome that. We'll never turn that down. But you're right. This makes it so much easier to operate. And the one thing I want to leave everyone with is this. I always save this for last. Okay. Again, we always welcome people to call, and we always welcome people to stop by and interact with us and make a request. And we will certainly always honor those requests and help people out. And if we need to show you 10 times on a one-on-one basis how to use it, we will more than welcome to do that. The last thing I want to leave everyone with, and this is actually what you were asking me, Renee, was what was the third thing, and this was it. So see, I knew it would be there somewhere. I knew I'd remember eventually. Is this? So I'm logging back in as a member. Let's say I watched the video we just recorded on the website. Let's say I stopped by, and let's just say I still got questions. At the very top right where it says help next to log out here, you see that? I'm going to click that button. Literally any question I have about the basic functions of ForeTees, I can click, and these are all 2-minute videos. Okay. How do I register for an event? Well, remember, we talked earlier, an event is either a league day or any club sponsored event. So everything I just showed you, maybe I forgot, maybe I watched the video and it wasn't as clear. I don't know. I can click there and I can maximize this and hit play, and there's now a video showing me how to register for an event. And they also show you how to do it from your app. Your app is going to look the same as the desktop version. It's just going to be a little smaller. You see how the event sign up there is I mean, it looks exactly like I just showed you, right? But this guy's on his phone. So that's a really great feature that they have added over the years, was these help videos. You know, how to book a tea time, how to update a tea time, how to request a tea time, how to register for an event. I mean, it's all right there. How do I download and activate the Club Central, they call it Club Central ForeTees app, on an Apple device or an Android device? I mean, it's all right there. And just, we'll leave you with this. How will I know how to do that? So you won't be able to see it yet because the app was just completed yesterday, and I have to call them and kind of get all the specifics and everything. But when you log on as a member, right here where it says Golf Shop News, this is going to be expanded, and there's going to be something in there that will look like your cell phone, and it will say, click here to capture your password. And you'll go there, it'll take you to another screen, and you'll capture your app, cell phone, password, and username. And the great thing about the app is once you log in for the first time, you're forever logged in. It'll be a little icon on one of your screens on your cell phone. You'll just touch it, and it'll pop up, and it'll say, welcome back, Chad Perkins, and you'll be logged in. And it's just that simple. So that's it. I mean, that's the whole family right there. So,
Okay, so maybe one last question then about that. So
Sure.
I download the app. I'm up in Canada, as you probably surmised
Sure.
by now.
Yeah.
I'm planning at some point to come down to Legends once the border opens and all the rest of it. But just
Sure.
let's say everything's normal. It's a couple of days before I'm about to arrive in Legends. Will that app still work in Canada, for example? Location has no issue. It doesn't have any issue with location services?
Correct. As long as you have cell phone service anywhere on this planet, you can access that app and make
Excellent.
tea times.
Okay, thank you. Good.
Yes, you're welcome.
Well, thank you very much, Chad. I like it. And I mean, I've said that several times, but I can't help it. But, when I see something like that and as simple as that, like I said before, I think it's great. And I want to thank you for your time in doing all the homework and bringing this in. And let's hope we get a big pickup on it. And it's going to be with us for a long time. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McDowell, for taking the time today.
Oh, you're more than welcome, Renee.
Yes, thank you. We appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, folks, enjoy the rest of your day. I dug all the